Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Either way, it's Maxine Lou.
Just me, just you, lost in the moment. Lost in the moment.
So today I've gathered tips and some sub-tips for middle school, or basically things that I learned from middle school that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. And I think these tips apply to any grade. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's just get right in with the video. The first category I have is friends. So friends will change and you will too. Basically, what I mean by that is the friends you have going into middle school will definitely not be the same as when you come out of middle school. I speak from experience that a lot of my friends now are still the same friends I had going into middle school, but a lot has changed. I've lost some friends and I've gained some friends, and sometimes it's for the better, and you can't be afraid of that, I feel like, because it's going to happen no matter what. You're going to gain friends and you're going to lose some, whether it's because of drama or you guys just don't have any classes together and so you don't talk as much. You know, either way, it can be for the better, so don't always look on the wrong side of that. Try to keep a positive attitude. Next, be friendly with the teacher, or at least try to be nice to them. Teachers' jobs are already so hard. Like, they have to watch over so many kids. Like, I could never do that. So try not to be like a troublemaker. Even if you're shy and you don't really like talking to the teachers, just try to not cause trouble and just do your work and try and be the best that you can be. Most likely, if you're nice to the teacher, they will help you out a little more. Like, obviously all teachers, they help out students, but if you're nice to them, they might give you some tips that they wouldn't give other students. Next is make time for your friends and family. Middle school is rough, and it's more rough for some people than others, but something that's super important are your friends and family, and you have to make time for them. And it's not always super easy. Trust me, I get it. I have a busy schedule. But if you really wanted to stay friends with somebody or spend time with your family, you will make time for that. And you just gotta, just don't be afraid to hang out with them. Next topic is socializing. So this kind of involves friends, but it's more like getting to know new people. So my first tip for that is get involved. And I know everybody says this, and pretty much because it's true, you have to get involved to meet new people and not get caught up in your little social circle. So I dance outside of school, and going into high school I'm doing color guard, yearbook, most likely drama club, and I think that's it. So don't get involved just so that you can meet new people. Get involved so that you can do what you like, but at the same time, when you're getting involved, don't be afraid to just go out there and talk to new people. Trust me, not everybody is mean. Some people are genuinely so nice and also trying to make new friends, and you never know what new friendships you can build if you don't put yourself out there. And it doesn't have to be a school activity. You don't have to play a school sport. That is a great way to get involved, but I mean, I don't play a school sport and I'm still trying to get involved in different ways, so don't be afraid to do that. Okay, next I'm going to talk about grades and also some Regents tips. So number one, grades do matter. They definitely do matter, and they matter more to certain people, but they do matter to a certain extent. I don't think you should make your whole life about grades, which is kind of hypocritical coming from me, but I definitely am trying to like learn how to also have life outside of school. And I think you need to keep that kind of separate. Grades are important and you need to make time to study and do your homework, but don't be afraid to just sometimes take a break and let yourself breathe a little bit. Just know that you do have to go back into it because it's a class, it's a grade, you don't want to fail it, and it is important to your future. I know some people say like middle school grades, they don't really matter, and I will say like they don't matter as much as I feel like high school grades, but middle school kind of sets you up for high school. So if you're failing in middle school, I don't really know how well you will do in high school, so make sure you're just keeping that a priority. So on to Regents tips. I know some states don't require, students to take Regents and they require some other tests. My state does, and here is what I have learned. Number one, I never knew you had to use pen on the test. So if you're doing like old Regents and you're just kind of studying and practicing, I would recommend using pen to practice. And because if you're like me, you like using pencil because if you make a mistake, it's easier to erase. But I never knew that you had to use pen. I literally didn't know until a day before I had to take the Regents, and I wish I had more practice with doing math in pen because that was something I really struggled with and I was really nervous messing up. So if you're practicing, use pen. Number two, start studying early. And by that, I don't mean like study every single day and make your brain explode. That is not what I mean. I started studying about 2 to 3 months before I had to take Regents. So that was about like April. And I think I gave myself a good amount of time to slowly regain the information I learned and really lock it in my head. I really only studied when I could and when I like wanted to. So just start studying early and give yourself a good pace so that you don't stress yourself out, and that gives you more time to, relax and just kind of have a nice foundation of information that you need. Next on the Regents tips, something that I've learned is that Regents are super easy to pass, but they are kind of hard to do well. I'm not going to share my Regents scores on the internet, but I would say I did pretty good. Obviously I didn't get 100 and that is totally fine. Just don't be too hard on yourself, but make sure you are getting the information that you need and make sure you are studying and paying attention in class, because it is super easy to pass, but I would think that you might want to do better than that. So just really try your hardest and just know that it is not like a regular school test. It is super hard to get hundreds, even high 90s. So try to just don't be so hard on yourself. Next, I'm going into self-love and self-care. So in middle school, I wish I had known to start self-love a little earlier. I am a very insecure person. I kind of always have been, and I would say my lowest point was 7th grade, and I started really like self-care and self-love in about 8th grade, so really only about a year ago. And I cannot tell you how much difference that made in my grades, my social life, and like my family life. Literally, it made everything so much, I guess, easier, and just I was just more relaxed, and I was taking like myself a lot more seriously, and I feel like other people will take you seriously when you take yourself seriously. And here are some tips on like self-love and self-care. So something that really helped me learn about self-love was podcasts. I really like Sarah Zaday's podcasts, and she's actually a fitness YouTuber, and she is so great. I love her so much, and her podcasts really helped. So I'd recommend you listen to them and really make every like point sink in. Also, I really like By the Book. It's a great one, and there's a lot more that you can find, and I'm sure it will help somehow. And I also have books for like self-love and self-care. In my last video, I shared 2 books, and it is Love for Imperfect Things and The Things You See Only When You Slow Down. If you want to know a little more about these books, you can just search them up, and I got them off of Amazon, and so far I'm really loving it. And self-love, it really helped me get through middle school. Trust me, I think this is like the most important tip that I can give you, is start learning little bits of self-love and self-care early, because middle school, it takes a toll on you, and I think having that self-love and confidence is really going to help you, and really going to help you better yourself and focus better in school. Next, I have scheduling. Okay, so my first tip for scheduling is guidance counselors are there to help. And I'm talking about, obviously, more specifically school schedules. If there's something you don't like about your school schedule, or something that you have a question about, don't be afraid to go ask your guidance counselor. Don't just sit there and be like, well, I guess since this is my schedule, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Don't do that. If you're not happy with your schedule, you're going to hate your class, and you're not going to look forward to it. Even if you like your schedule, you might not look forward to the class, but I feel like if your schedule is just kind of messed up, it's really going to mess up your mind, and really going to make you like hate going to classes. So don't be afraid to just ask them about things, and ask for their suggestions too. They really can help you, and you don't have to take their advice, but I think it's nice to listen in sometimes. All this talking is making me so thirsty. Okay, we're almost done. So next is a pretty like obvious tip, is don't procrastinate. And I'm actually not a procrastinator. I know everybody like says they are. I hate procrastinating. If you know me, you know I love planning everything out. I literally have like 3 planners, and I just can't procrastinate. It makes me so stressed out. But I know a lot of people do that. My recommendation, don't do that. Get a planner and plan things out, and finish things early. And if you have free time and you want to get ahead on some work, and like you know how to do it and stuff, go for it. It really helps going ahead, and you're going to be a little more relaxed that way. Because if you're so busy one day and you just don't have time for any work, but you worked ahead, you will have less work, number 1, to make up, and number 2, you won't be so stressed out. Next tip is you have to make some sacrifices sometimes. For example, if you have like a sports game and then maybe like a performance, you're going like at the same time, you're going to have to choose what you would rather go to and what is your number 1 priority. And if you can't really decide, like these 2 things are equally as important to you, go talk to your teachers and talk to your coaches. I think they can really weigh out like the pros and cons and stuff. And teachers, they work with each other to try and make sure there are no like conflicts, but obviously it's not going to be perfect. So make sure that you talk to your teachers and you let them know that you have conflicts. Trust me, they won't get mad. They were once in your shoes. And just make sure you're not just not showing up to something without letting them know. That's the worst thing you can possibly do. Last, but definitely not least, if you really want to do something or get involved with something, you will make time for it. And I don't know like who told me this or where I learned this from, but I find it so true, so I just wanted to share it with you guys. So let's just say you really wanted to do drama club. You will make time for drama club if you really wanted to do it. If you didn't want to do it, it wouldn't be in your head and you wouldn't be trying to like shuffle your schedule to do this activity that you really want to do. So make sure you know your priorities and like you know what you actually want to do, because if you're just doing something for your friend or just for your resume, I would say that's not right and that's not the right way to go about it. If you really wanted to do something, you will sacrifice something that you don't want to do as much just so that you can do something that you want to do. And I think that really helps me with prioritizing, is what would I rather do and what would I rather sacrifice. Okay, that was literally like a 20-minute video. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you watched all of this. And I think no matter what grade you're going into, all these tips, they apply somehow, and I think this will help make your school year a little smoother. I know I definitely will be taking these tips with me to high school, and I hope you guys have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!